Hey, what is going on with y'all, man? It's Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. Now I wanted to get on here and cover this topic real quick. This video will be about the 215 bodies that was found buried in unmarked graves behind a state jail in Jackson, Mississippi. When I first heard this, I didn't even know what to say, but I wasn't surprised. You know, considering it's coming out of Jackson, Mississippi, I wasn't surprised at all because this is a very wicked world. But getting into some of the articles and where it even all started, what prompted someone to actually even look into it is what was even more shocking. We'll check out this clip real quick. We'll also read from this article right before we jump into that, just to give a little bit of context for people that haven't heard about this, right? An alarming situation has unfolded in Jackson, Mississippi, where 215 bodies were discovered buried in unmarked graves behind a state jail. Families of the deceased were left in the dark until last month. Some grave sites were only identified by a number and a metal rod, raising concerns about the lack of transparency and respecting and handling the deceased. The families of the deceased attorneys are calling for a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding these unmarked graves. The revelation began with Dexter Wade's death in March 2023, in which a police officer fatally hit him. Shockingly, his family was not informed of his death, and he was buried without their knowledge. Activist Silky Slim Reed, alongside attorney Ben Crump, shed light on the distressing details, and I got the clip from Silky Slim that we'll go ahead and check out.
Unsettling situation in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi to be exact. It's been revealed 215 bodies were buried in unmarked graves behind a state jail in Jackson, of course. Attorney Ben Crump is now calling for an investigation. Families of the dead reportedly had no idea until last month. Some of them, those grave sites were only labeled by a number and a metal rod. Joining us to talk about it, activist Arthur Silky Slim Reed, who also works with Ben Crump.
So, Arthur, this started with Dexter Wade's case back in March, right? He was an individual who was hit by a police officer, and his family thought he was simply missing, but he was dead and buried, and no one notified them.
Well, the thing about it is that he had identification on him, Isaiah, and the medical examiner gave it to the lead detective, who said he called, didn't get an answer, and they didn't worry about doing anything else. What we're finding, Isaiah, is that Mississippi is Mississippi. It's an ugly Mississippi, and this is sad because now we have 6 other individuals that has been put into this same grave. And if you look at the video from when we first went to that site, buzzards were flying overhead. And we were trying to figure out, why are the buzzards flying overhead? But it's because they're putting them in shadow graves, and the only thing that they're putting them in is a body bag without embalming the bodies. So the stench from the bodies are drawing buzzards there. It's so inhumane for anybody to do anyone like that, Isaiah, is just horrible is what we can say. And that's not even a word that we should use in a situation like this. It's something that we haven't seen.
And what we're seeing here is over 200 people in this, what they consider a pauper's grave behind the county jail there. And what you guys are learning in your investigation is many of these families were never called, were never notified. Many of them still think their family members or thought their family members were simply missing, but they were dead and buried and never got a call from any investigators, any law enforcement officials or authorities in Jackson, Mississippi.
That's right. And one of the things that we faced being Mississippi is that they thought that we were playing the race card. We have white clients as well. There were white people that were buried the same way, Isaiah. And any human being that's buried the way that they're burying these individuals, it says a lot about the people that's doing this criminal act.
Now, as y'all see, it says Wade's case took a disturbing turn when it was revealed that he had identification on him, which he just said in that clip. This identification was given to the lead detective by the medical examiner. However, the detective claimed to have called without receiving an answer and took no further action. Reed says the situation in Mississippi is deeply troubling, with 6 additional bodies now discovered in similar unmarked graves. Reed describes the grim scene at the burial site where buzzards flew overhead. The bodies were placed in shadowed graves without embalming, leading to a disturbing stench that attracted scavengers. He emphasizes the inhumanity of such treatment and calls for a more dignified handling of the deceased. They say it goes beyond race because white and black individuals are buried in the same manner. The lack of identification and the practicing of assigning only numbers to the graves further compound the anguish of the families involved. Now, this is crazy because, as we all know, I think graveyards are behind just about every state jail that there is. You know, behind prison, so on and so on. For the people that spend life there, that get buried behind the jail or behind the prison. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure. But these were unmarked graves. This was not a graveyard. This was not a designated place to bury bodies, especially since they didn't embalm any of the bodies. And I couldn't imagine the smell that was there with over 200 bodies that were not buried properly. But as you can see by the article and the clip, it was a black man, Dexter Wade, who was struck by an officer. He was fatally hit by a car, his car. So, you know, for people that may be thinking these people died in jail and they were buried there, no, this person did not die in jail. He was just buried there. But I think something like this goes to remind you that it's still very wicked in the world that we live in. We're going into a time where things are going to be revealed to us even more than what has been going on recently in the last couple of years. And this is something that's very disturbing. And it's real life, because you can only sit there and imagine that, you know, one of your family members, your brother, your cousin, your sister, who you thought was missing for a couple of months, and they were actually already buried and discarded. So I couldn't imagine being a part of the family of someone who had to experience this. A lot of times, you know, people go through stuff and we look at it from the outside because we're not the ones going through it. But this right here is wicked, y'all. And the people that's behind it, you know, I don't even know what to say about them. I don't even know what to say. You know, but I thought this was, you know, just a quick important video to bring to the channel, because I feel like things like this need to have a light shed on it. And, you know, even if a video like this got 2,000 views, at least somebody's seen it and you made people aware of what actually goes on in this real world. Still, to this day, over 200 bodies found behind a jail, y'all. Like, these are people we're talking about. And they didn't say how the guy Dexter Wade got hit by a police officer and ended up, you know, they didn't say how. Like, was he chasing them? You know, did he just hit this random dude and just decided he knew where to go to bury him? Think about that point. The officer knew that there was unmarked graves behind the jail. He knew, because that's why he took him there and buried him there, or whoever he got to help him move the body and bury the body. Then it raises another question of how in the hell did anyone not notice this shit? The guy was missing for 6 months. This is in March 2023, and the news is just now coming out. So he was missing for a long time. How did they get away with burying that many bodies behind a jail cell? No camera saw anything. And I haven't seen not one article that points the finger at anybody who's responsible for it. So that right there alone, you know, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about that one, y'all. You know, but I definitely want to hear what y'all think about this in the comments, man. Like I said, just wanted to keep this video short. Did want to bring awareness to the situation the best I could, you know, just by putting it on my channel, just as simple as that. So, yeah, man, y'all already know what's going on, man. Like I said, y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. So with that being said, it's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon.